And now I'd like to talk about reports. So in A to G, we have multiple different ways you can go and run reports. You can run reports in the actual client, but we also have the ability to schedule reports and email out reports to people. So people that don't necessarily always have to have access to A to G, for example, like a finance team, they just need to see the actual numbers. They can have their reports emailed to them in the morning for them to do their work. Let's show you a little bit of reports. First thing I'd like to talk about is the sales item report. In the sales item report, you're able to save reports and select them. So let's just go in. We'll take a look at one of them. So I'm just going to go through here and I'm going to run it with the defaults. And as you can see with this report, what this allows us to do is allows us to group it by the location and by the date, and we can see the amount that was sold. But we can see it not only in what's referred to as the summary, but we can also highlight it out and we can actually see it in the details form, meaning that we can actually see all the details that are in the transaction from here. And we do allow users to actually go in and change and modify the report. So for example, let's say that in this report, we need to actually see who the employee was that actually sold it. So I can go in, I can actually select fields, and I can actually type in the employee ID and add it in. And now we can actually see the employee who actually did each one of those transactions has been added in. We can go and we could save this report. So the next time this report is loaded, it would go in and create it. We can go in and change the filters. You can filter off of anything in the system. You can do it by location. You can do it by employee, by terminal, anything like that. We even have some very specific filters. So if you want to do it by specific receipt number, transaction ID, the idea being for any third-party things, like, for example, the listener. And you can go in and you can actually select those specific, and then you can filter out that specific information. You also can group it. You can group by location, employee, anything like that, sales number that you go in and you actually want to see. So it makes it nice and easy for you to customize it and run the report from there. We also have our transaction report. So if we go in and we run the transaction report, what we do have is we once again, very similar to the sales item report. In this case, now we're seeing an overview of all of our transactions. We're just not seeing just sales items. We're seeing the transactions. So we can have different things than just pure sales in there. For example, you can see like when there's an order, when there's a payment made on an order, you can go and see that. And once again, just like we had before, we could go in, we can see details, or we can see it in summary from here. Just like we had with the sales item report, we can go in, we can add filters, we can add fields, we can add in your groups, whatever you need to be, and then you can save and load this report for later. We also have payments. So once again, just like we had from before, you can see the different payments in. So you can see your amount out and your amount in. So the amount of returns versus your the amount sold versus what your actual net is. Got your taxes as well. So you can see a breakdown from here. And during this, if any time you want to see any specific transaction that has been done, you can go on any of these screens and simply go through there and select it. And then on the select receipt details. And what that will do is I'll pull up the full receipt details for this transaction. You can see all the information in it from here, and you can see that information. If there's any workflow information, it would actually go through and populate it here. Got a couple different options. You're able to reprint it. You can if it's an order, you can copy it for our order system to go through there and print it out. Makes it nice and easy for you to go through there and run it. And these reports can be set up and configured into an overall reports module so that you can quickly go through there and select each one of them and run them. Each one of these reports, you can go in and run and do an Excel export. So you can actually just hit export. So let's take a look at that. So right now we're going to run this transaction report in details. Let me pull that report up. Here we go. It's brought off screen. And so now what we have is we have the report that we just saw before here that we've got it in Excel, and you're able to actually go and report it to whatever need you have. So whichever way you want to view and edit the report is what we actually do allow. Also want to talk about our general ledger report. So one of the things that, as we've said before, that we're able to do is we're able to connect to an accounting system, PeopleSoft, JD, etc., and it will tell you when a transaction has been created, what the information of it is, the source, what the GL account is, where it's coming from, what it is, the location information, the receipt number in this case, and whether or not it has been exported, and the original date of the transaction and the amount. So it gives you a nice, easy way for you to validate and respond to your